this is Elle. Today I'm going to be discussing the third book in the Shadow Me series, that is Ignite Me by Tahereh Mafi. So, for those of you who did not know, this is a book discussion, which means that there will be spoilers. There will be many spoilers, and you shouldn't watch it if you haven't read the book. I recommend them, personally. I like them a lot. So, yay! So now that all of those people are gone, we can start discussing this book. First of all, I did give it 5 stars on Goodreads. I flew through it, I thought it was great. It was a big pickup from the first 2 books. I liked them as well, but not as much as this one, because the pacing was great, and most of all, Juliet has had so much character development. I was so happy with her in this book, because for the first 2 books, I mean, I liked her in the first one. Most people are saying that she was whiny, but I don't know. In the first book, I didn't feel like she was that whiny. I thought, like, when she was sad, she had reasons to, so yeah. In the second book, I had a little more problems, mostly because it was just like, she was like, now I'm gonna get myself together and do something, and then something would happen, and she would just fall down to where she came from, and it would happen again and again and again. And like, I could have handled it if it happened like once or twice, but I felt like it happened so many times that I became really tired of it, and I was like, Juliet, please, you can handle this. Get yourself together now, please. In this third book, she finally managed to do that, to get herself together and really to bring out her leadership potential and stuff like that. So this third time that she broke up with Adam when he came to the base, I thought that was great. And she finally just sat down with him and said, like, Adam, okay, it's over now. Yes. Because I don't like this when it's like, you're like, oh no, I don't want to say anything. Like, I understand why that happens, but it would have been really tiring for it to happen a third time. Like, I don't like repetition of things. It's not good. There was generally a lot of character development in this book. Adam happened, and he kind of, I didn't really expect that. Like, he was so angry and bitter throughout the entire book, and it really put me off. And the thing is, I'm not sure. I don't know, maybe it kind of feels like he shouldn't have been that angry all the time. Like, it might have been just a little thing so that we would like Warner more, because now Adam is kind of a douchebag. But yeah, I don't know, maybe I just imagine things. Warner is a character that I have a lot of conflicting feelings about, because in the first book I loved him as a villain, but I couldn't see him as a love interest at all. I felt like he was just a douchebag throughout the entire book. Like, he was a very enjoyable douchebag. Yes, but love interest, I didn't know. But the thing is, before I started reading this trilogy, I already knew that most people were like, hey, Team Warner. And I didn't understand why at all when I read this first book. And I was just like, what? What are they going to do to fix this? And the second book happened, and I was still very cautious. Like, I started to get why people could ship them, but I at that point I was still very much Team Adam at that point. Even though he got a lot of character development, but at that point he still felt like, oh, let's take a character like Loki, say? Yeah, Loki, who's a very interesting character and has like the saddest backstory ever. And like, you do understand how this character became what he was. And you can hope that they change for the better. But I was still like, no, I don't want to see him as a love interest just yet. I want some more change. And yeah, in Ignite Me, that change happened. So combined with Adam becoming very angry and kind of irritating, we had Warner become very, I don't know, I want to say kind, but I don't know if kind is the right word. I liked how he looked at Juliet in this book. I liked the relationship. The thing is, when I started reading reviews on Goodreads for this book, and like most of them were like, hey, this book is so good, but there was a few who considered it to be glorifying abusive relationships, and I think I can understand where they come from, sort of, but I don't really agree. It's because the thing that I was really concerned about mostly was just the events in the first book. If the first book hadn't happened, then I would have zero problems with this relationship. I would have loved it. But I feel like she forgave him far too quickly for what he did to her in the first book. I think that she should have, Juliet should have thought about it a little bit more. Yeah, we have that, and then we have, I can handle that. Okay, she forgave him a bit quickly, but I can handle it. But the thing that I have the most problem with is the last scene. Is that last scene with Warner and Juliet in Shatter Me, when she shot him and stuff. But the first thing was that he shot Adam and then talked to her about how he loved her. And that felt very much, it felt like an indicator of an abusive relationship, and I didn't like it. At the same time, I feel like, I think that his feelings have changed from the time. I don't think that he really loved her at the time like he does now. As for me personally, I more think that at that point, Warner could just see her, how should I put this? He could just see her in combination with himself. He saw himself in Juliet, and I feel like in this last book he finally saw her. He could see her as an individual and by herself and what she could accomplish, and I felt like in the first book it was just like, you and me, and I was just like, oh my god, you. And yeah, I don't think that the relationship will turn into an abusive one. I think that if she wants to leave, he will let her. I think he will be really sad and crushed and stuff, but I think he would leave her. I think that if she wanted to leave him, then he will let her, and that's great. But I would have liked that scene to be discussed nonetheless, because it really wasn't that scene with when he shot Adam and stuff. I would have liked to see them discuss it, but they never got to it, and I wish they would. I would have felt better if that was the case. So other things about this book. Kenji is a gift. He was a gift in Unravel Me too. I wasn't a real big fan of him in Shatter Me, but I felt like he became so much funnier and more dependable, and he bloomed so much in Unravel Me and even more in Ignite Me, and I think he's a great character. He really is. James is adorable. He's so cute. He's lovely. I would have liked to see a little more of Castle in this third book, because when he was quite a lot in the second, but in the third he was just usually kind of there. I would have liked to see maybe a little more development on his side. I know that he's not really an important character like that, not at this point in this last book, but I wouldn't want to see him a little bit more. In my summer reading plans I was talking a little bit about Shatter Me and how my problem was that there were so few female characters, and I still feel like I would have wanted more females. We have a little more in this book and in Unravel Me, but they are still very much background characters. Juliet is the only major, she's the only major female character. And I had less problems with this book because now she was a very strong character. She was, yeah, stuff like that. While in the first book she was more sad. She more needed help from the males around her, and at this point she can, yes, she still takes help from them, but she can handle herself very well, and I like that. But I would have liked someone else of the bigger characters be female, say Castle or James or even Anderson. Someone of those I would have liked to be female, mostly because, yeah, more females in the center, please. And Tahereh Mafi's writing style is beautiful as always. I am really envious of her writing. It's absolutely amazing, and yeah. I wish I could say something more critical and like poetic than just it's amazing, but I'm just gonna say that it's amazing because I don't have the kind of words that she does. I would like some continuation to this series. As I said, I haven't read Unite Me yet, but as I said, that's still in the middle. I want a continuation. I want to know what happened next. I want to know if they managed to sort of take over the country or some shit, if they are going to try and take down the reestablishment in other parts of the world as well, or if they're just gonna be in America and kind of take fugitives or something. I would like to see what happens. Maybe not an entire book, but like 100 pages or something. Just, yeah, a little more stuff. I want to see what happens. I really would like that. Is there anything more I want to say? I can tell you how pretty this cover is. And you already know that because you have seen this cover and you have seen how pretty it is, but I can show it again because it's lovely. I think that this is my favorite of the 3 books. My favorite cover. It's definitely my favorite book of the trilogy. Anyway, I thought it was a great ending. I was really happy with it. I applaud you, Tahereh Mafi, for your work, and I hope to read more books by you. Thanks for watching. Bye!